gonna be alright. Cause me and my clique, we don't give a fuck. Sweet Daddy, you got it, King. Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up. Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up. If you want some, come get some. That's where I'm from.
And on that note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to FTW Future Focus. And today we are back with Old School. I am your not-so-humble correspondent, Robert Black, on location this week because I'm having some follow-up surgery on the old eye here. But joining us today, I'm going to go from my left to my right. The founder of our feast, the president of FTW Network, and a former professional wrestler and great promoter. He is the Mastermind, Bobby Rogers, at work, paying the bills. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Let me just say this. Screw you, YouTube. For all you guys that don't know where our episode went last week, YouTube had a problem with what we showed. So we're going to keep you updated on what's going to happen with that. We might be going exclusively on the network itself, and you guys can tune into that. You'll see a lot of new things on the network as well. But I do want to thank everybody for being here for this past year. It's been wonderful. We've had a lot of fun, and we're going to keep going with it. It was something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah, screw you, YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, screw you, YouTube. Yeah.
I've got some input on that too, but it can wait.
I feel like CM Punk with the Young Bucks right now. Just say it.
Well, that's also something else we'll discuss later. To my caddy corner is the silent but deadly man from Chicago, Illinois. He loves women's professional wrestling about as much as I love needles in the eye. He is Marvelous Marcus Buckley. How you doing?
I'm straight. I might be liking women's wrestling more than the Bears right now. They just let Cleveland. Cleveland tie the game up. So
don't tell me that you're losing to Motown again because of the Bears.
No, it's no bet. I'm just watching the game.
Okay.
Wait. I'm not betting against the Bears now.
Nah.
Wait a minute. Wait. They're lose. They just blew the league.
Yeah, it's tied
17.
up now.
What's the score?
17-17.
One thing I meant to say this. Speaking of the Bears, whoever that wide receiver that dropped that pass on the first quarter when he threw it perfectly, they need to take him. Don't even let him in the locker room. Whoop his behind right there in the middle of the field.
Matter of fact, tell him to find an apartment in Cleveland. You can't come back to Chicago.
Oh, unbelievable. To my right is the man who is the resident of Indianapolis, Indiana, 40 years of watching wrestling, has nothing to do with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and is a good pal and friend of the FTW Network, our best and brightest correspondent. He is the Gadget brother, Chris Words. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Let's knock it out.
We will.
It's for this one.
It's fun. And speaking of old school and fun, he is the host of Old School and the president of Motown Wrestling Group on Facebook. He is the master of wine, women's song, and cigars, the irrepressible Tony Motown Allen. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Definitely looking forward to Old School. Been a little minute, and man, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Sweet. Well,
real quick though, before we move on though, special shout out to Ty. Today is her birthday, the first lady of Motown's wrestling group. Hope you're watching, Ty. Hello, happy birthday. Enjoy your day, girl.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ty. Well, good to have you, and good to have all of you here for FTW Future Focus, because as you know, last week we had a little bit of a hiccup, but we'll cover that in a later episode because today we are having fun. Motown at your show, so take it away.
All right, before we kick it off with old school, what we're doing this week, because we're not doing our show reviews, but we are going to touch on like current stuff though. So we're going to instead of moment of the week, we're going to do the moment of our shows. So whatever show you have, you're going to give us the best moment, and then after that, if you have a tapped out from that same show, we'll do that afterwards. But we'll go in order of show. So we'll start off with me with Raw. Raw was really, really good. I really enjoyed Raw. But anybody that know me should know what my moment of the week, moment of the show was. Mommy, Rhea Ripley looked so fucking good. Oh my god, I absolutely love every time this woman's on the show. She beat the dog shit out of Maxine Dupree, reminding everybody, Mommy is always on top of me. I don't know if Bobby can do NXT now. I don't see him in the string, so Dynamite next.
Yeah, Dynamite's my beat. And I really enjoyed the show this week. They had plenty of follow-up. They had a storyline. They had the Continental Classic, which I'm really enjoying. My moment from the show, and I do have a tap out as well, but my moment of the show was one spot in the Andrade El Idolo match against Brody King. There was a spot in the turnbuckle where the metal part was exposed between the buckle and the post, and he rammed Brody King's head into it, knocked him out, and pinned him to continue on. And that was a great moment and a very smart move that I've never really seen before. So that was my moment from Dynamite. And since Tony, it seems, has taken a powder.
Oh, no, I had to go get my crown. I had to get
Bobby's
my beer.
back, so Bobby can do NXT now.
Oh, okay,
He's on the phone
Bobby,
now.
you got
he's
it.
No, he's on the phone.
Oh, okay, never mind. Let's see, who's
SmackDown.
next?
SmackDown.
SmackDown, got it.
Well, my moment of the week was SmackDown. This was the first week I had because I was at work and I got a chance to actually watch wrestling, all the shows. SmackDown was fantastic. It proved what I believe WWE is going in the right direction. They have new stars. They promoted Carmelo Hayes to the roster. And the promos are fantastic. Like guys that weren't good at promos years ago, like a Bobby Lashley or Randy Orton, are really surprising me with the way they are doing promos now. Orton's promo and saying, "Daddy's back." I'm like, this guy stole mommy's phrase. He wasn't Reigns' daddy. Who's your daddy? Well, I'm like, he just took it and like nobody's saying shit. They're like, yeah. Even when he said it, Paul Heyman's look on his face was like he used to do whenever Lesnar was coming after Reigns, like, oh God, it's over. Like he gave that look like he might kill Reigns. And I really believe he might kill Reigns. But then seeing AJ Styles pop back up, I don't know what Orton and Styles are doing, or what kind of slim fast they're on. They look like they're in the best shape of their fucking life right now. Both of them got their 8-packs back, and both of them look ready to roll. And I'm telling you, Reigns has a roster now of people to come after him. He's got CM Punk, he's got Cody, he's got the Viper, and he's got AJ Styles. This looks like 2024 is going to be a good year for WWE if everybody stays healthy. So I gave SmackDown my moment of the week because I thought it was the show of the week.
All right. Marcus, why don't you kick us off a Rampage?
You mean Collision?
Collision.
I mean Collision. I can't tell the difference no more.
Stupid.
I can't tell the difference.
Well, my moment from Collision was the first match between Andrade and Claudio. Again, two guys that can really wrestle. You know, I'm really enjoying this tournament. AEW's got something good going with this. I'm really curious to see who wins it. I almost don't mind anybody winning it other than Moxley. I hope to God they don't put this tournament on him. But really good match. I fell out laughing when they was having a classic back and forth, and Claudio kneed him in the balls and hit his finisher on him. That was a nice heel. That was a nice heel move. I was rolling. I mean, but that was my overall. The show was pretty good, except I can say it now that the bet's over. Of course, I didn't watch that garbage women's match. Fast forward straight past that, but overall, the show was pretty good though. So that was my moment though.
All right, well, Bobby's still on the phone, so we're gonna move over to our "You Tapped Out" of our show. I struggled with this one because Raw was really good though, but there was just two things that bothered me. Real quick, I should have fast forwarded to a tag team match with Chase and Katana versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. No disrespect to Carter and Chance, but that match was hard to watch. But my actual tap out is main event Jey Uso. And the reason why he's my tap out, and I struggle making it my tap out because that match with Drew McIntyre is really good though, but when are we going to start seeing him win? This man is on a whole nother level, and it's just like he's putting everybody over. I am sick of him putting everybody over. Why don't people, especially Drew McIntyre, don't need that win. Jay needed that more than Drew. I mean, you talk about established stars that could afford the L when you try to show people that main event Jay is a true main eventer. If you're gonna give him that fucking nickname, can you start booking him like that? At least half the time. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But that's my tapped out.
I knew something was going fishy when he didn't beat Rollins for the title. I thought that was the perfect, if you're not going to do it on a pay-per-view, but I thought that was the perfect time for him to win that belt for that match. And it was a good match.
It was a good match. I mean, he's having good matches. I'm just sick of him losing them.
Yeah.
Bobby, you free?
Finally.
All right, why don't you give us your moment and tap out all together?
Moment of the week.
Gotta be from NXT.
Yeah, I know. And it's so hard, man, because there were so many good things on that show. But I'm going to say this. It actually didn't happen on NXT, but it's dealing with NXT. And that's Carmelo Hayes coming out and being in the U.S. tournament. It's well deserved.
Yeah.
That man is about to blow up. And I just can't wait to see a match in something that I'm drooling over. And that's Montez Ford versus Carmelo Hayes. That is going to be
Ricochet.
No.
No, that'd be a good match too, but it's not as
Why
good.
you always try to why you always try to stick some butter into the mix that I'm already got together?
You always do that. Something already. Like I told him, Carmelo Hayes is the man.
We got Montez Ford. I wouldn't mind sticking my butter in Bianca.
But my thing, anytime somebody calls, it's like, oh, well, I want some caramel cake. Well, it'd be good if it had some coconut with it.
I'm sorry, Bobby.
That was a perfect match. Montez Ford and Carmelo Hayes. How can you get any better than that? Except, Bianca and
Jay.
And Jay,
joining us on FTW Future Focus.
Oh, and if Jay, oh God, if they pair Jade with Carmelo Hayes, that's why I should be working for WWE.
Actually, I'd watch it again if it were.
I got a better pay for. Never mind. I'm not going to go there with Jade.
I would, but anyway.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
You tapped out moment, honestly. The women's division of AEW. God. I was teasing Rob earlier when he came to the hotel and I said, Riho. And I was playing with him. I like teasing my buddy. That's my best friend for I don't know how long. But quit coughing. But my thing is this. That division really needs to be scraped out and built from the bottom up. This is the most. You have Serena D, which I know she's going through some stuff, and if Serena is watching, I hope you get better. Please get better. I understand why you're not in the ring now, so it makes sense. You got Statlander. I love her. You got Athena, which has grown since she's been the ROH champion. You got Billy. You got Billy Starks that has walked around and came up with her little teenage behind and made a little splash. Good old girl from Southern Indiana, Kentucky, or whatever region that is. It's all the same thing. Southern Indiana. You got girls like that, and again, you have idiots, and I'm saying this with a capital I, idiots, that are in charge of making these storylines. I don't know if it's Tony Khan. I don't know if it's Kenny Omega. I don't know if it's Rio herself. But you have idiots making these storylines that make no sense, no favor to the women whatsoever, no type of progression for the women wrestlers there is. They have enough battling as it is when it's come to getting their product on TV. Why are you making it worse? Do you not have pride of being women? This goes deeper, and it makes me sick. And honestly, because I love women's wrestling, I love watching the girls go at it. I love when they can talk trash. I love seeing Rhea Ripley get at them. I love when Nia Jax try to act like a valley girl, which we know she ain't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love to see Jade Cargill walk down and thumb her nose down at people like she's the best thing to ever walk the planet. And then you got Charlotte Flair doing it on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you got disappointments like Becky Lynch. But, it's a thing of Britt Baker ain't it. Let's stop trying to even promote her. Britt Baker ain't it. I don't care how much she goes DMD. I don't care about that.
I think
because
she promoted her like 9-10 months
She
ago.
regressed. I've never seen anything like it.
Because she SUCKS. That's what she needs to be pointing to. I'm sorry. AEW Women's Division needs to get a lot better. And it needs to start from the ground up. And I'm telling you, I'm making a prediction right now. I'm going to say this out loud. Fortunately for AEW, I don't think Charlotte Flair is going to stay with WWE anymore. After the way they treated her dad, after the way they treated her husband, I don't see her sticking around. They might, and this is what I mean about AEW can still have life if WWE screws up, and that will be a big screw up. Letting Charlotte Flair go to them. And Charlotte Flair is going. So we might see a resurrection here in the next year or two. But as for now, USUCK.
All right, Rob, what's your tap out from your show?
Okay.
How do you follow that?
on the set. Well, that's a good segue for my tap out because once again, my tap out from Dynamite is timeout Tony Storm. I cannot stand the gimmick that she has. Everything that they are doing with her is terrible, and I just want it to stop, especially changing to a black and white filter every time that they put the camera on her.
I love that shit.
It's tight. I love it.
I don't know why, because she's gone from cornflakes to dog shit. It's terrible.
Nah,
What?
She's some oatmeal now.
Well,
that's Rob's
if the
opinion. We gotta
oatmeal
let
is
him have it.
lumpy like Humpty Dumpty, then yeah, sure, but no. Humpty Hump. I don't do it, but I've heard it. Anyway,
That's
thank
how
you for
follow.
joining us on FTW Future
That's
Focus.
how you follow the mastermind.
I'll ding myself there. I like my oatmeal lumpy, but not in the Burger King bathroom. Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. Moving on.
Hey,
I think
just for the record, Rob's been dinged more than me.
Rob's on fire right now. I'm sitting here. This is the best segment.
Hey, the show is young. The show is young. Chris.
My tap out is what my show didn't do. We talked about, remember about a year ago, we were like, okay, Brock, what's his name? Braun Breaker lost his title. He's going to the main roster. Everybody else has gone to the main roster, but Braun Breaker. Carmelo Hayes beat him for that title. He's on the main roster already. I'm like, what are they doing? Why are they keeping this guy in a jar? Because we, like you said, what Rob's complaints are what I actually see them doing, building the show up, infusing new talent. But this is probably one of the biggest talents that they can infuse the show with is Braun Breaker. I mean, if he came up and started fighting Reigns, I would believe it immediately because he's that kind of guy. So that's my tap out moment. I don't understand what's going on, what's the holdup is. Bring the kid up and let him beat up on some people. You know.
And it is kind of funny that we all thought he was going to get called up at the.
What did I say though?
You did say I believe it when I see it, and that was damn near a year ago.
Look, Drago's coming up next before Braun.
Well, he may have pissed somebody off.
No, he didn't.
WWE created
They're seasoning him or something. I think.
No. I'm at the point right now. I think he's getting punished for Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner.
Nah.
What did he do?
Triple H
and Triple H hate each other. Hate.
Yeah, but they put him in the Hall of Fame though.
Yeah, but Braun Breaker's a Triple H guy. Triple H is protecting his kid right now. He's protecting him. I believe that.
Well, who knows? Marcus, you're up.
Okay. I know what we're supposed to be talking about. So technically, this didn't happen on Collision, and technically, it's an AEW thing. Technically, question: how many of you guys knew there was a pay-per-view, a Ring of Honor pay-per-view on Friday?
When I saw the thing on YouTube, I didn't know there was no promotion.
That's my point. That's my point. You know, Tony Khan brought Ring of Honor, and I said maybe I fast forward past it, but I didn't see any promotion on it on none of the shows. And one thing I will give Impact Wrestling is that after their pay-per-view on their follow-up show on Thursday night, they show clips and they talk about it all night, trying to convince people to buy the replay.
Right.
Yet on Collision, they briefly mentioned something. I don't even know what the damn card was, but they mentioned something about some kind of tournament they held or whatever that I forgot who the mascot was that won it. I mean, if you got Tony Khan, if you're going to have Ring of Honor, I mean, and you're not going to have it on television, at least promote it. At least promote the pay-per-view. Try to get somebody to buy the replay. and there was barely a mention of it on Collision. I mean, I'd rather him have let Ring of Honor die than what he's doing with it right now. I mean, it's just absolutely horrible. When I think last year, what they had on, what was it, the last pay-per-view of the year for Ring of Honor, was that the
Final battle.
right final
The
battle?
Briscoes versus FTR.
Right, exactly. And now a year later, we don't even know what's happening. I mean, that's just the
And then got people walking around with belts.
right, exactly. That's that, and they mention it, but I mean, they mention the title holders, but they don't mention nothing else. That's just brutal to me. That's my huge tap out moment.
That's a good one, Marcus. That's a good one.
All legit.
I was thinking that shit. I was thinking it like I was.
Right.
I never thought of it as a tap out moment, but he's fucking right, because they actually Ring of Honor, their roster, when I pulled up the rosters for ROH and TNA, and I pulled up the Ring of Honor one, they have a good roster right now.
Yeah.
Like from the AEW, they have a good roster. It should be a good show.
Yeah, I don't even know what the card was.
Well, see, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I'm going to check it out because apparently it there was some damn good wrestling on there. But those are legit criticisms, Marcus. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on to old school, I mean, we kicked off this show with "fuck you too." Before we move on, before we move on to old school, fuck you, Eberflus. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. The coach should have kept your fucking ass. But no, we're gonna hire a reject coach that can't coach worth a damn. Fuck you, Eberflus.
Is this against me?
No, Eberflus. Fuck him. Gentlemen, fuck him.
No,
this is a wrestling show. This ain't ESPN, Tony. You keep that shit for another show.
No, Tony, you wouldn't be pissed because your fantasy team just got hit, are you?
No, he's gonna win the whole thing. His team's stacked.
Oh, okay.
Look,
no, that's
Hill's not playing today, though.
Right, that's as a Bear fan, because in all honesty, the Bears never affect my fantasy team because I don't draft them.
See, this is why I don't gamble, especially not on sports.
I don't gamble on the Bears. I love my Bears. I don't pick them. I don't bet them. I put my money on the Bears. Now, moving on.
Wait. What happened? What happened with Eberflus? What? I just heard it at the end.
Yeah. Cleveland got a field goal.
Oh my God, I'm done.
The Bears lost. The Bears lost. Oh man, hold on.
Woo, woo.
Welcome to the football edition of FTW Future Focus.
Mute his ass.
Hold on. Let me do the Reebok.
We're gonna murder this man.
The Cabbage Patch. The Dougie. Let me do the Dougie. The Macarena.
Oh. I would ding that, but it's not dirty. It ain't. Unbelievable.
All right.
Let's start old school. Let's do it.
We're kicking off old school with. This was a last minute thing that I threw to the panel at the beginning of the week, but when and the thing that sparked this, in all honesty, is I saw the Undertaker's Mount Rushmore of tag team.
Wow.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm gonna throw his out there though, because he actually had a good. But when I saw his, I was like, "Damn, we need to talk about this." Undertaker had Arn and Tully on his Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
So he had the Midnight Express. He had the Rock and Roll Express, and he said, "There's no pop like the Warrior pop." He had the Road Warriors on there as well. But when I saw that, I'm like, we need to do this. We need to do our own Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Before I do mine, I'm gonna let everybody else go. But before I do mine, some people in Motown's wrestling groups shared theirs, and I am going to share theirs as well, though. But if Bobby, are you free? All right, you go first while you're free.
Yeah.
All righty then. Let's see here. I'm trying to do them in order because I love these tag teams.
I know.
This was harder than it looks.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. So trying to narrow it down to 4 teams.
For the last 40 years that we all have been alive, this is hard.
I know. That's what makes it hard, you know. But all right, check this out. Let's just go with this. Number 4 is the Heart Foundation. Always love these guys. Technical excellence to the max. I mean, Heart Foundation off on point.
Mm-hmm.
Next, number 3 is the Steiner brothers. I kind of like them better than the Road Warriors because they not only had the muscle aspect, but they also had the athletic aspect as well. I mean, you had Rick Steiner doing Frankensteiners in that ring. What the hell? That was unheard of back then. So, especially a big man doing it. Next, second, number 2. I'm sorry, Rock and Roll Express. I mean, they did help define tag team wrestling, but the number 1 pick is their enemies.
Yeah,
the number 1 tag team that's ever going to walk this earth. I don't see a tag. I would like to say Pretty Deadly is going to come close, but they're not going to be as close as I think they will be once I think about it. And it's the Midnight Express. The Midnight Express totally. What's up, guys? The Midnight Express totally embellished what tag team wrestling was about, and not only tag team wrestling, but what heel tag team wrestling is about. I wanted to put one tag team in there, but I think it's too soon, and that's FTR.
Yeah,
it's just too soon to put them in there. So, all right, have a good one, guys. I don't want anybody thinking that I'm slighting FTR or anything. It's just they don't have the longevity of a career as these guys. Take a look at the guys that I picked, the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
Steiner Brothers. Rock and Roll and the Midnight Express. You know, Rock and Roll and Midnight Express alone has 30 years apiece. I think more when it comes to those two. So FTR is getting there. It's just not there yet. Aussie Open don't have it. I'm sorry. They're good. They're top 10, but they're not top. They're not top all time. Nowhere near it. I mean, if you think about it, I can't even say the Usos and them are all time because of the length of their career. They haven't been in there long enough. They're close to it though. You know, but yeah, that's my 4.
That's a good 4, man.
I did my list. My 4
That's a
are
damn good 4.
established old school tag teams. Like I don't have these new guys on my list either for the exact same reason. I mean, like FTR could be there, the Usos could be there. Honestly, I even fought with New Day. Like I think New Day's top 10, but that what you talk about is why teams like that did not make my list though. So definitely
if there wasn't a Midnight Express or Rock and Roll, there might not have been an FTR. That's how tough this was because FTR reminds us of those guys when we watch them wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Marcus, you up next? Oh,
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, I'm gonna start at the top first because my first 2 tag teams were easy. The Road Warriors, number 1. That was my favorite team of all time.
Yes.
I used to love to hear when the Iron Man come on, and they would just run out, do their squash smash, and just beat the shot of jobbers. I love when they start walking into the ring with just spiked shoulder pads, and they just had, even though they didn't sell at all, and just hearing the promos and just watching them beat the shot of people. That's my favorite tag team of all time. Number 2, Midnight Express. Like Bobby said, perfect heel tag team. I mean, I don't remember them have very many bad matches at all. I mean, they've always fit great, especially for the hot tag and the comeback by the baby faces. I mean, Cornette just added so much to them. I mean, I love the rocket launcher and the double goozle. I mean, personally, I liked Eaton and Lane more than Country personally, but I mean, either combination was a great team.
Yes.
Now, I struggled with 3 and 4 because I had about 6 or 7 tag teams that I went back and forth with. So, actually, as of about an hour ago, I've narrowed it down to number 3 being the Steiners, I love the Steiner. I love the Frankensteiner. I mean, them guys. I mean, seeing Scott do that Hurricane Rana. I mean, for a guy his size was always amazing to me. And meaning their athleticism, the way they moved around for having all that muscle. I mean, I used to stop what I was doing and watch the Steiners. And the fourth one was really hard for me, but I'm going with the Fantastics. They were.
Ooh.
Yeah.
To me,
Not-
I picked the tiebreaker for me was since we talk about old school. I picked the Fantastics because I like them. To me, I'm gonna be in the minority of this, but I thought they were a better babyface tag team than the Rock and Roll. In my
I
opinion.
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
They
I
were
agree.
that was the two. It was
Right.
between them two.
But I agree with Marcus though. I
Right.
do agree
Right.
with him.
I mean, the matches
At
they
least
had,
in Texas.
right. I mean, the matches
The
they had.
Fantastics got over in Texas.
You're right, Rob.
I think right, and that's what I think they were never as big as the Rock and Roll, but because they was pretty much a regional team, or was a territorial team. But I thought they were better baby faces than the Rock and Roll myself, and I thought they were a better team than the Rock and Roll. I always thought, and I thought their matches with the Midnight Express were just as good as with the Rock and Roll, in my opinion. I always thought that, and they because they never made it on the big stage, during their prime. I thought they didn't get as much credit as they deserve. That's a great team, but those are the four. Now you ask me an hour from now, that might change, but for the moment,
Like I wish Tony would have
Right.
gave us. This should have been a 10 list. Like I wanted to do 10 because that's how hard it was.
yeah. But
Yeah.
for the
But
moment,
I will say this though. I like Marcus' list a lot. Cause I like the fact that he had the Fantastics in there. Because in my opinion, I like the Fantastics more than Rock and Roll as well. I think their matches with Midnight was better. I just felt like Rock and Roll was more mainstream. They were more over.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
they were like practically, they had women throwing panties at them.
Yeah, and it was Express versus Express, Rock and
Yeah.
Roll Express
Yeah.
versus the Midnight Express. You know what I
But
mean?
the Fantastics
but
was so
seeing them
underrated though.
but those
I'm happy that
matches
Marcus put them on his list.
Yeah, but those matches on UWF was incredible.
Yeah.
The Fantastics matches with the Midnight and the Sheep Herders. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the sheep herders. Oh my,
Yeah,
people,
Sheep
they
herders-
weren't the bushwhackers back then.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
love
mean,
the sheep herders, not the
Like
bushwhackers.
Chris said, he wished it was a longer list. The Sheep Herders would have made my top 10.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, the Samoan SWAT team would have made my top 10.
Yeah.
Shit.
Hey, the powers of pain would have.
But next up is Rob. What's your Mount Rushmore?
Okay,
can't wait.
I tried to limit mine by this criteria. I wanted to pick teams that were primarily known just as tag teams, not ones that had a particular breakout star or were part of a stable. So that kind of it disqualified certain teams to make it a little bit easier. But
Right.
I wanted teams that were either primarily known as a team only or had like a star that was only in the mid card and didn't become a main eventer later on. The Eaton and Lane version of the Midnight Express. Probably the best heel tag team in the history of the business. The Road Warriors, of course, because Hawk and Animal were just the Hulk Hogan of the tag team division. And I mean that with all.
I hate Hogan, but I get what you're saying, though. So I agree. I agree.
Warriors were just unstoppable in the 80s, and they defined tag team wrestling. Speaking of the 80s and defining tag team wrestling, at least for the WWF, Demolition is on my list. The Axe and Smash version, just to be clear.
Here comes the Axel. Here comes the Smash. Demolition. Walking disaster.
Pain and destruction is on me. Yeah. Love the song. Love the song, but Bill Eadie did have like other success as the Masked Superstar and everything, but he didn't get up to the level of like Michaels or Hart or
The
any of
Repo
those guys.
Man and all that other shit.
Yeah. And that's why the Steiners didn't make my list, because Scott really elevated as a single. So even though the Steiners are in my top 10, they couldn't make the Mount Rushmore because of that. And finally, number 4, the British Bulldogs.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, forgot about them. I forgot about them.
Davey Boy and Dynamite did have singles careers, but after they became a team, you just can't mention either one of them in the same breath without mentioning the other. And their matches with Valentine and Beefcake and with the Hart Foundation and with the Rougeos.
The Killer Bees. I mean, it goes on and on.
Yeah, they had just excellent matches in the WWF, and they were the jewel of the tag team division before
Absolutely.
Dynamite injury.
Absolutely.
And even a little bit after. So yeah, that's my 4.
They might be the most innovative tag team of all time. Dynamite Kid does stuff that people do today that we get people go, I've never seen that before. And I go, Dynamite Kid did that back in 1983 up in Montreal somewhere. He was doing that
in Japan and Canada.
Oh my God. Good. Rob, I love you. I knew you was going to give me one that I forgot about. Thank you.
That's what old school is all about.
Name a better snap suplex than his.
Oh, nobody.
Yeah.
And then, Davey Boy went on and had a double tag team career with Owen Hart. Remember, they were winning tag team titles with Cornette as their manager.
Yeah.
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 But before we move on, I want to give a shout out to...
What's that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. No, Dynamite and Davey Boy were just... They had great singles careers separately, but they never got
together they were magic.
Yeah,
Rob,
but together they were just a tag team.
You're the best, Rob.
But yeah, that's my 4. Road Warriors, Lane and Eaton, Midnight, Demolition Axe and Smash, and the British Bulldogs.
Now, before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Dream Book and Wrestling joining us for the first time. So thank you for chiming in on chat. He likes both WWE and AEW. He's like all the wrestlers, so cool. And one of his favorite wrestlers is HBK, Mr. Freaking WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels. Yeah, old sexy boy.
Bobby that.
All right, are you going last, Tony, or you want me to go last?
No, I'm gonna go last. I just want to give that shout out to Dream Book and Wrestling for joining us and everything, So, but yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Well, honorable mention, FTR, Briscoes, and the Freebirds. Because I know none of us are going to mention the Freebirds, but there wasn't tag team wrestling without the motherfucking Freebirds back in the 80s.
I would have loved to have used the Freebirds.
They had everything.
They were a stable.
Yeah, but they had everything. Michael Hayes couldn't wrestle. We know that. But they did have the big guy. But I'm going to start off with the Steiners, and this is why. They did stuff that nobody did when I first saw them. Their feuds with Doom, the Road Warriors, Lex Luger and Sting, the Outsiders, the Harlem Heat. I mean, this was the only team that beat all those teams. None of them teams could say they beat every team there. The Steiners beat every team I just named, and those are go-to tag teams. If you go by the criteria, especially if none of us mentioned the Harlem Heat, you got for African American, they might be the greatest tag team of all time for my people, and I love Booker T and Stevie Ray. I got the Road Warriors because when I grew up, I don't even know if they were heel or good guys. Nobody. Before they started walking down with the spikes, remember they used to run through the crowd, jump in the ring, beat them up, and then jump out the ring and go. Like it used to last like 30 seconds. We'd be like, but we would on Saturday morning when we saw the Road Warriors, That was the whole Saturday, and it was the only wrestlers that I couldn't find. When I used to collect wrestlers, I could never find the Road Warriors. I never had the Road Warriors. I used to buy wrestlers for 20 years. I collected them. I could never find the Road Warriors. Hawk, there's nothing to say. Hawk had everything. Hawk had everything.
Chris, just off-topic question slightly, but did you collect the LJNs?
What do you mean?
The action figures, the WWF LJN figures.
Everything. I never called it that, but yes, I collected. They started with the rubber wrestlers, then they went to these action wrestlers, and then they started making like Heenan style wrestlers, and then they started making G.I. Joe. You see what I'm saying? So there was so many iterations. I got about 98 wrestlers in my collection that I've been over the years.
So hold on. I gotta ask a question. So Chris,
yeah,
you started with the rubbers.
Thank you for joining us.
The first wrestler I ever got for Christmas was Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, and then the Iron Sheik was the second wrestler my dad got me, and then I stole my cousin's Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. So the first wrestler I had was the Paul Orndorff, where he's got his muscles like this, and then the Iron Sheik was like this. Those are the two first wrestlers I ever owned.
The first ones the first five that I ever the first four I ever owned were the LJN line. They were Orndorff, Nikolai Volkov, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Roddy Piper.
Okay, and then the other four were that LBJ line was the Junkyard Dog, Hulk Hogan, Paul Orndorff, the Iron Sheik, and not Andre. It was somebody else. I can't remember.
So wait a minute, Rob.
Snuka. Yeah.
Rob. Yeah. So I have a question for you, Rob.
Okay.
Did you start off with the rubber?
Did the rubber become before the chicken? So let me get that to my list. Yeah. So I'm at Road Warriors and Steiners. So my list is going to take a turn from all your guys' list. I got the Dudley Boys, number 3. And I'm going to tell you why again. ECW, after WWE, I don't care about AEW. I don't care about TNA. I don't care about ROH. ECW is my second favorite promotion of all time. And when I talk about the roster, it was a tag team heavy roster. They beat the Gangsters. They beat the Eliminators. They fought Rob Van Dam and Sabu when they were at their best. Came to WWE, had the TLC matches when nobody was doing that, with the Hardys and Edge and Christian. Went to TNA, beat up on them. I got the Dudleys, man. And not only that, they might be the best tag team promo in the history of rap. I know Bubba Ray can argue his promo at I think it was
Heatwave 99.
Yes, when he went out to the crowd and spit in the old lady's face and threw, it might be the best heel promo I ever saw, period, out of anybody, let alone a tag team.
I was at Heatwave 99 live, and when Bubba and Balls Mahoney started wrestling into the crowd, Bubba smashed a Coke over
that's crazy
head, and it splashed me in the eyes.
And they literally got better though. Like we saw them, they weren't a finished product in ECW. They became the greatest tag team of all time in some people's eyes. My number 4.
Go ahead. All I gotta say about that one is she's gonna take 9 inches of. Oh, sorry.
Stop the whole presentation though. Joe Gardner, sign guy. I mean, the Dudleys had everything. Everything you want in a presentation, they had it all in a promo.
And thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. The late reaction there.
My number 4 was tough because I almost did Rob Van Dam and Sabu because they were that damn good when they were together. My number 4 is the Eliminators. And I'm going to tell you why. The greatest finishing move to me in tag team history, other than Doomsday, is the total elimination. It looked like when they did it to Mikey Ripwreck, I thought he was dead. I thought they killed Mikey Ripwreck. But they were doing the stuff that they do now. They're the only tag team I can go back and go. They were jumping on the rope and walking the rope and doing flips and doing karate kick. They did everything Van Dam did. They did everything the luchadors do. They did everything. 450 splashes. They could wrestle. These guys they had all the submission moves. I mean, the Eliminators, to me, I can't put them as the best because of the Midnight Express and all them, but they're the best tag team I ever saw. That's the best tag team I ever saw on paper. Deliver what they do. They beat the Pit Bulls. They beat the Dudleys. They beat the Gangsters. They fought Rob Van Dam and Sabu. We can name all these other tag teams. The Eliminators is the best tag team I ever saw on God's green earth, and that's just a fact for me. So that's my fourth
list.
Great, cool. Yeah. Now, before I do my list, I want to throw out some lists. I got like 5 different lists that people threw out there. I'm not going to comment on them. I just want to throw out what some of the people from Motown Wrestling Group threw out there. Mm-hmm. Now, Bobby's going to hate Cooper's list. But Sean Cooper, got the Dudley Boys, got the Legion of Doom, he got the Usos, and he got the Young Bucks.
Oh, what?
Oh, whoa. Whoa.
Wait a minute. In the history?
Oh.
In the history.
Hold on. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Cooper. You are my dog. You are my friend. I respect you because you're Tony's friend. I respect you because we do like some of the same things. But I don't know what you drinking, what you smoking, what you have ate that gave you salmonella. I don't know. It wasn't that, bro. I don't know what was going on in your brain to even utter, to even think, to even have an abbreviation that the Young Bucks are anything great besides being the greatest losers. I gotta answer this phone.
Right.
I mean, the top 400, not the top 4.
All right, we're moving on to Marcus Cummins. That's like his list. I like his list a lot. He got the Dudleys, he got the Road Warriors, he got the Harlem Heat, and he got FTR.
Okay.
Joshua, another good list. We got the Midnight Express, he got the Fabulous Freebirds, he got the Steiner Brothers, and he got the Dudleys.
Okay.
Adam Coates, baby. Got the Road Warriors, the Dudleys, the Midnight Express, and the Usos.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
And then a buddy I used to, of course, is in the group as well, but Tony James from my bowling league, he got the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, the Outsiders.
Okay.
And the Brothers of Destruction.
Legit, all.
That's legit. The Hardys is a hard one because I love the Hardys. The stuff that they innovated, that was a hard one for me not to put. But if you would have did top 10, we all might have had a little break. We all might have been like this. But when you said top 4, it was tough. It was like, oh, God. I forgot about the 4 Horsemen. I forgot about the 4 Horsemen.
I didn't forget about it, but they couldn't make my list.
Almost made my list, but
they gotta make it. I mean, we top 10 though.
I didn't have no top 4. I did not have no top 4.
Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard though.
They top 10, not top 4.
They fought all the guys we all got though in the top 4. They fought the Road Warriors. Yeah. They fought the Rock and Roll Express. They fought the Midnight Express.
But before I give my top 4, I want to say these 3 words before I go into my list. Fuck you, Chris. Fuck you, Chris.
Wait a minute. Why are you saying that to Chris? You should be saying that to Cooper.
He hates me. No, Tony hates me.
No, when I share my list, y'all know why.
No, you should be saying that to Cooper because he did share his list.
Tony hates me, man. Tony.
No. When you look at my list, you see why I say fuck you, Chris.
We think alike, Tony. I've been telling you this for years.
You know exactly why I'm saying that shit. Coming in, number one on my list, the tag team that got me into wrestling. I was a little kid. WCW Saturday Night was on. I came in the house. My stepbrother was watching wrestling. I saw the Road Warriors come out. I'm like, who's that? Hawk Animal, the Road Warriors is why I started watching wrestling.
I thought it was real.
Yes. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And there is no pop like the Warrior pop. Nobody gets a Warrior pop like the World Warriors did. And when you told me they're from Chicago, too, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sold. Straight up sold. My number 2 tag team is the best heel tag team ever in professional wrestling. Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I like your list, man. I like your list.
They were like one of the most accomplished tag teams. You talk about drawing heat. Nobody drew heat like Bubba Ray Dudley. Like when we talk about Heat Wave 99, that's what I do right away we're talking about. Because I had never seen a tag team cut a promo like that. Their intro was like, for Heat Wave 99, that shit went like 10 minutes. And it was all fucking classic. And I
would have paid for the pay-per-view for that alone.
Yes. Yes. Coming in at number 3, another top tag team heel. Probably the second greatest heel tag team, in my opinion. A lot of teams, number 1. We talk about the Gangster of Love and the Sultan of Swing. Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan. The Midnight Express. And I really struggle between 2 and 3. I mean, this really could be 2A, 2B, to be 1,000% honest with you. Because the Midnight Express were that, though. They had their mouthpiece and cornet. The one thing I loved about them, and I'm happy that Marcus brought up the Fantastics because those were phenomenal matches. The Midnight Express, in my opinion, talent-wise, was a far better in-ring tag team than the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
Which is why that Express is on my Mount Rushmore and they're not. I just felt they were like they were just crisp on all the stuff they did. They worked well together. I just love watching them as a tag team. But coming in at number 4, fuck you, Chris. The Fabulous Freebirds. And you're right.
That's my number 5.
They were innovators, though.
Yeah, they were.
You know why we have ring music? They started that shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did. When you have teams switch, when you have a 3-man team that plug in 2 here and there, what do they call that?
The Freebird rule.
Buddy Rose, Michael PSAs,
Roberts.
Buddy Roberts, my bad.
Okay, but Buddy Rose was in a damn good underrated tag team with Doug Summers in the 80s.
were.
Yeah, he was.
Michaels and Jannetty.
Yeah.
Buddy Rose, though, you know, that Ric Flair thing, they all wanted to be Ric Flair. They all wanted to be the natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the one thing I got to say about Terry Bam Bam Gordy, though, the muscle of the Freebirds.
He was 18. He was a kid, too.
But Terry Gordy is part of the Fabulous Freebirds. One of the greatest tag teams ever.
Mm-hmm.
But he's arguably in another great tag team.
Yep,
The longevity system.
Yeah.
With Dr.
Him
Death
and
Steve
Dr.
Williams.
Death Steve Williams.
They
was
never wrestled the Road Warriors.
Right.
They never wrestled them.
I know.
But they did wrestle the Steiners. Oh my God.
Yeah, but they went to Japan and killed it in Japan.
Yeah.
They were
That was a
unstoppable.
phenomenal tag team. That was just flat out phenomenal.
And don't forget about Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the other Freebird, the new Freebird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to put Harlem Heat on my Rushmore. The reason why I went with the Freebirds over them, and when I say over them, like Steiners and Harlem Heat were like right there. Like that's 5 and 6.
Yeah.
The longevity is the reason why I gave it to the Freebirds over those two teams.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Let's
Harlem
see.
Heat followed the formula though. The high flyer guy and the muscle. That's the same thing with the Heart Foundation.
Yeah.
That's the perfect tag team to me when you have one high flyer and one muscle guy. That's what I want to see.
In the 80s, WWE was one of the best tag teams. They had the Heart Foundation, had the British Bulldogs, they had the Killer Bees, they had some
Strike
other teams.
Force.
They were
I
doing
mean,
it
we
right.
didn't even
Strike
mention
Force.
Strike Force.
But in the
Valentine and
90s, you
Beefcake.
had,
Oh, I
you
love
had LOD and WCW. You had the Steiners. You had Harlem Heat. You had, tag team wrestling back in the day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Man.
What's his name? Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes had a tag team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Wyndham and Luger.
Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. People don't. If you really know wrestling, and we go up to Portland and go to North Carolina, Piper and Flair used to be a tag team. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They were. Imagine them the promos with Piper and Flair. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, there are so many tag teams.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, the Hardys, they deserved it too. Edge and Christian deserved it. Motor City Machine Guns deserved it. Beer Money was. I wanted to put Beer Money on my list because that's one of those tag teams. I love Beer Money, and them and the Motor City Machine Guns. Those are some of the best matches TNA ever put out. 5-star matches.
Most wanted.
Yeah.
5-star matches.
AMW. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was a good one, Tony. You do this every time to us.
I'm not sure what's going on with Bobby because next up is our 101.
Let's go to what are the extra subjects you got?
I'm not going to do extra subjects. I'm going to do the next one up. Pick a side.
Okay.
So for pick a side, here's what we're doing. You got Ring of Honor. And you got Total Nonstop Action. TNA. Tits and ass. Fucking love them.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
I've been doing my research. This is one of the toughest subjects you ever presented because there's 1,000 wrestlers that have been through both, and then there's the ones that have been on both promotions. So I hated you. I was like,
Rob, did you give this to me or was this mine?
This one's yours. I didn't get this.
Okay. And I think we talked about it before. I'm talking prime. I'm talking them back in the day at their best, not the shit we get today.
No, they're in their prime now. Some of them, though. I know what you're saying, though. I know what you mean.
I'm talking about TNA at its best and Ring of Honor at its best because these companies are not at their best right now. But back in the day, they had a lot of good young talent there. Yeah. I'm actually going to start this off with Chris. And
I wanted to go first because they do have the same talent. Samoa Joe was wrestling on both shows in the same week. Okay, we're gonna put that out there. AJ Styles was doing the same thing. But my answer is ROH. You had to search for it. I remember the first time I discovered it. I don't know about y'all. I was up at like 3 a.m. one night, flicking through the channels. And I was like, there's wrestling on? I didn't know what the hell I was watching. It was ROH. I got introduced to them back in, 2002, 2003. But I'm going to bust off the list of the top wrestlers today and then tell you which one promotion they worked for. I got 3 minutes. And I'm leaving off Reigns and MJF. I'm leaving off Edge and Christian because they weren't there. So the PWI did their top 500. Guess who was number 1? Seth Rollins. He was Tyler Black in ROH. That's 1 point for ROH. Samoa Joe is the ROH TV champion right now, even though it's defunct. But Samoa Joe, when we talk about the greatest matches in ROH and TNA, he's on both lists. His bio in TNA, AJ Styles and Kurt Angle, 2 of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. That was his. Those are his rivals. In ROH, he fought. Let me name them: Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, AJ Styles. I mean, like, he fought the ringer of the guys that are the greatest wrestlers that live today. Daniel Bryanson, who we all argue is the greatest wrestler currently in the world. Where did he start out? ROH, the American Dragon. AJ Styles, who just came back. AJ Styles, what people don't know is he actually wrestled on WCW and WWE, and they didn't hire him. He went to ROH and then went to Total Nonstop Action TNA and became a megastar. Comes to WWE, they were calling SmackDown the house that AJ built. You feel me? So, I'm giving that to ROH because he's on both. CM Punk, the guy that's the algorithm. I call him the algorithm. We can say needle mover, whatever y'all want to see. He's the algorithm. You put his name in, you watch CM Punk's what's he on? You don't know what show he's on no more. He's on AEW? No, he's on WWE. He was on ROH whooping people's ass when he had that flimsy body, no muscles, no nothing. CM Punk was a star on ROH. And when we're talking about from then to now, he's the biggest name in wrestling. That's another point for ROH. I mentioned Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. One of the biggest baby faces in wrestling, Sami Zayn, El Generico. He didn't even talk when he was on ROH. I mean, this guy, he was some of the best matches. Him and Kevin Steen, who's my next wrestler on this list, Kevin Owens, was El Generico versus Kevin Steen. I mean, ROH put out Sabin, EC3, Eddie Guerrero was on ROH at one time. We know Cody left WWE and went around the world again. He went to NWA. He went to ROH and dominated. He went to TNA. Bully Ray, that's where he resurrected his career, was in ROH. Jim Cornette, when he disappeared after OVW, he popped back up in ROH before he went to TNA. So I got ROH as being the company that, and like I said, it's so close because a lot of these guys did double duty, but ROH, for them to be where you had to find them on TV, and then these are the top wrestlers in the world today, were on that show. You know, we all watched TNA. ROH, we had to find it. And we name a show you didn't like. You know, Briscoes. There's names that can, and I got one last name before I stop because they don't use them right. The most dominant, I named the best wrestler in the world. I named the top one of 500 on PWI. Jay Lethal is the most dominant wrestler in ROH history. He had the television title, the world title, and the tag team title all at the same time. And when I see what AEW is doing to him, I would love to, if he can't do no worse by going to WWE. Jay Lethal is one of the top wrestlers in the world today. And ROH is where he cut his bread and butter. And I would love to see what Jay Lethal could do if somebody used him right. Because, I mean, like I said, he's one of the most gifted, dominant wrestlers I've ever seen, talented. But I got ROH for my choice. But who's got the most?
Okay, I'm going to go next because I need to go get some more beer. So that's why I'm going to go next.
You stupid. I'm losing my voice.
My pick is ROH as well. And for a couple of different reasons. Now, I've seen TNA live back in the day when, actually in St. Louis. I saw Lethal Lockdown there. I really felt like TNA, granted, they have developed stars, but they have more established stars that went there. When it comes to developing stars, I think stars were developed better in ROH. a lot. I mean, I won't make this quick because Chris went through a long the list of a lot of wrestlers that developed in ROH. Me and Marcus, both of us, because Marcus, you're gonna go next because me and you have gone to multiple ROH shows in Chicago Ridge and seen a lot of these guys live. And I'll be honest with you. Some names that was left off the list of Chris's list, me and Marcus seen live. And for me, one of the highlights of the shows is the Young Bucks. I love it. We seen Young Bucks versus Briscoe. We seen Young Bucks versus the other team. Young Bucks and ROH, I honestly love. I did love them back in ROH.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like they're going to be there. I'm paying my money. We're going to see it. We're going to fucking Fieldhouse or wherever the hell that place is called in Chicago Ridge.
Frontier Fieldhouse.
Yeah. ROH put on damn good shows. No, I'm talking ROH back in the day. They were putting on some good matches.
Yeah.
They definitely was back then. Enjoyed the hell out of it. I got introduced. One name you left out that I got introduced to at ROH, Scarlett. Oh my God.
Damian Priest too. I left him off.
Yeah. But me and Marcus was there live, and we got to see Scarlett. She was doing ring announcing. So we got to see her all goddamn day. That bitch is fine. And back then, she was more like 21, 22 years old. Just a fine, hot piece of ass that we got to enjoy the entire night.
I left Awesome Kong off the list.
FTW Future
Awesome Kong started down there too. I mean, she ended up being in the Netflix series Glow. Like you said, which show produced the most stars? And ROH produced a lot. I mean, we feel like we watch ROH when AEW does good. We think we're watching ROH.
I know that's here like there. I think they took on the Young Bucks too, though. Christopher Daniels and Kazarian.
Yeah.
And we got the
Austin Aries.
They were cool as fuck. So like for me, it's easily ROH for me. For me, it's easily ROH. TNA was more successful with established stars, but I really think that like ROH developed more stars than TNA. Marcus, you up?
Okay, for me,
Thank you.
For me, it's not even a contest. It's Ring of Honor, because when I think of TNA, I don't think of WWE guys. The names that come to mind that made impact outside of TNA were AJ, Samoa Joe, and Bobby Roode. Now, to me, it's a
ROH.
Shame. Right. It's a shame to me that WWE totally fucked over Bobby Roode and he got injured. But Chris already pretty much named the guys that are currently stars in WWE that came from Ring of Honor. In my opinion, even though AJ Styles will always be synonymous with Impact, I think his work in Ring of Honor / New Japan is what got WWE wanting to sign him.
Him and Nakamura. You're right.
And Okada.
Yeah, you're right.
Them matches. I mean, and AJ worked as a heel and sort of the goofy little baby face of Impact. I mean, that to me, that's what put him over the top. And then let's not forget about the United Era, the greatest faction NXT ever had. All of that Ring of Honor and
Undisputed.
Thank you. Yeah, Undisputed. I knew that didn't sound right.
I left them out, but they're on my list. You're right.
I mean, we can go on and on over the stars that came from Ring of Honor. So I'm gonna keep it short. It's a very easy question to answer for me. It's Ring of Honor.
Bobby, you free? If you free, go.
Yeah, I mean, I can't add no more to it. I mean, Ring of Honor is the one. I mean, there's nothing I can add to it. I mean, you guys said everything there is to it. I mean, the only thing I gotta say is two people that you forgot that really enhances wrestling, and they're not so much in-ring workers, but they also develop people that work outside the ring, and that is the commentators. the commentators on Ring of Honor was awesome.
Yeah.
So, you guys look at it, with talent, and I'm looking like,
well, with the Delirious and what was his name? The commentator. They had really good commentating, but they even had Josh at one time. Josh was commentating, and then
their main guy is Kevin Kelly, I believe.
Yeah,
Kevin Kelly.
Yeah.
And there's also
and Nigel too, Nigel McGuinness, right?
I thought the other guy was Delirious.
Yeah, he was delirious in some of the stuff he said, but I mean, just to be real with you, they developed a lot more than just workers on the bench. They did a lot of things, a lot of backstage people, a lot of guys that actually work on commentary. Actually, a couple of the camera crew guys are even with WWE. So, I mean, if you look at the depth of what Ring of Honor developed, it was way more than just the actual. We got a good worker here. All right, let's put him in the ring. They're like, man, they got a good staff.
They could have been AEW. Whatever they could have been AEW.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right,
please don't do
that. All right, Rob, who you got?
Well, gentlemen, it's going to be a clean sweep. Ring of Honor is definitely the more influential, and I'm going to harp on a aspect that all of you guys kind of skipped over, and that's the ROH in-ring style.
Yeah,
the ROH in-ring style that was developed by that company. It influenced TNA. It influenced WWE, and it continues to influence New Japan and AEW because that was
NXT too.
Yes. The Ring of Honor style, the handshake, the code of honor,
the
lighting, that dark lighting. I loved it.
Yeah, and the pure division, which is something that nobody else has really done since Ring of Honor, and that produced some of the greatest technical submission matches that we've seen in
yes, that's what got me drooling.
Right, and we have seen more of that filter into wrestling in general than we would have otherwise seen after ECW went away. Because we always tend to forget that ECW was more than blood and guts. They had the Guerrero Malenko classics.
Yeah.
They had Benoit. They had
anybody was a classic.
They had Taz. They had Shane Douglas. They had all
RVD.
I'm starting to think I should have made this like Ring of Honor versus ECW.
I mean, Chris Jericho. I didn't know who the hell he was. I saw him on Smoky Mountain Wrestling a couple times, but on ECW, that match versus RVD is when I was like, okay, Jericho can go.
But after all the things you said about the talent of ROH bleeding into everything else and affecting today tremendously is true, but the style also that ROH created after ECW.
But if y'all listen to my list, the top wrestlers today all wrestled in ROH. That's why I gave y'all. I have a list of 50 wrestlers. I was like, no, Chris, who's the top 10 wrestlers in the world today?
Yeah, that's all you
Seth
need.
Rollins, Daniel Bryanson. I mean, CM Punk.
You just said Seth Rollins.
Though he's number one on the PWI though at 500.
And
he was Tyler Black. He was ROH.
But
I'm sorry.
But here's a spoiler for the next show because Ring of Honor dominated this one. I thought Ring of Honor would win, but I was surprised how they dominated. And here's the reason why though, because I really think the TNA on women's division hands down shit in the ROH and women.
They used to shit on WWE with the women.
Yeah.
With the knockout division.
The next time that we do this, we're gonna talk about ECW versus ROH.
All right.
Come on, man. Don't do that to us. Look, Tony, you be trying to stress us out, man. Stop. Let's just talk about ECW.
ROH
Justin-
didn't have a women's division. They kind of borrowed it from Shimmer.
Justin Fields, stop it. You'll be okay. We'll get through.
But anyway,
ECW is the reason why ROH, though, when I first saw it, I was happy because I was like, damn, there's no more ECW. And when I saw ROH, I was kind of like, okay, I got wrestling again, because it had a Jeremy Lin. It had, those guys that we saw from ECW mixed in with these new guys, so.
Yeah, but not only the talent, but the style. And
I hate that it was an hour-long show, too. It would get good, and it would shut off. I'd be like, damn.
But we're going to move on, though, because right now we got Bobby Frito, so we're going to move on to, like, the 101. So, ladies and gentlemen, 101. Who was the best manager in wrestling history? Christopher the Gadget Brother Woods has Bobby the Brain Heenan taking on the man who took down the first person that took down Marvelous Marcus Buckley.
Bullshit.
In a debate.
And he shouldn't have.
Bullshit.
Marcus didn't do his research and his stuff.
Bullshit.
He'd have won.
The Gadget Man the Gadget Man Chris Wood with Bobby Heenan is taking on the Mastermind and the GOAT, Paul Heyman.
What?
Now, you guys start off with 3 minutes each. You guys want to decide amongst the two of you who goes first, or you want me to pick?
Because we don't know if he's got time. Go ahead, Bobby, because you're free right now.
I'll go first because mine is just easy. Basically, I don't even know why we're having this debate, because it's like this. We are sitting up here talking about Bobby the Brain, which is one of the greatest managers on earth, versus Paul Heyman.
The greatest.
When you sit up there and you think about managing, you always think about, somebody acting silly, somebody dancing around, somebody taking a bump, blah, 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 blah. But when you talk about the greatest of anything, they have had to change the game to a point where it's like, oh, that's interesting, and do it well. Bobby the Brain Heenan, I will not lie, substantiated what a manager does, and he did it very well. He followed the same game plan. He did the same things that a manager should do. He did the same things that every other manager do, but he did it very well. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. Let me give me a second.
All right. I'm not gonna do my turn, but
go ahead, do yours.
He tried to come out with a rebuttal and
Bobby
use some of my points before I say them. I don't like that.
Bobby's gonna have 2 minutes when we come back.
All right. I'll go first. I'll go now. First of all, Bobby the Brain Heenan had 3 Hall of Fame careers. This is how great this man was. As a wrestler, a manager, and a commentator. So all this goes together when I get my point out. Manager of the Year by PWI, 1972, 76, 89, and 91. That's 3 decades that he was Manager of the Year. And he was second a lot of the other times that he didn't win it. Wrestling Observer called him the best color commentator in 92 through 94. He had a 3-year stretch. He topped the list when they did the list of the 25 greatest managers in history in 2011. Bobby the Brain Heenan's name was at the top. Columnist Mike Monaghan said, Heenan was the blueprint for all managers. That's what he said. Jim Cornette, who I argue, if it ain't Heenan, it's Cornette, if you go by titles. This is what Jim Cornette said. He formed in my mind as a fan and a performer what I thought a manager should be. That's from the great Jim Cornette. Jim Ross said, and I'll get to my point after I say these 3 quotes. Heenan is the greatest talent in the history of wrestling, meaning wrestler, manager. And I kind of agree with what Jim Ross said, because what made Heenan so special, not only did he sell and promote the show with his antics, he could get in the ring because he was an ex-wrestler. He's the greatest bump taker in the history of managers. So you could grab, Heenan had the neck brace on. Heenan had the broken arm. We seen him with the crutches. He had everything. Mind you, he didn't have the most champions like Cornette did, but every wrestler that he had, I'm gonna run down Hall of Famers, the Brainbusters, Adrian Adonis, the Super Destroyer, Ken Patera, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Buddy Rose, Brooklyn Brawler, Colossal Connection, which was Andre and Haku, Harley Race, Rick Rude, Ric Flair, who we call the GOAT. This guy was the manager of the GOAT. Ric Flair, Paul Orndorff, Mr. Perfect, King Kong Bundy, Lex Luger, the Missing Link. He was in 2 of the first 3 WrestleManias. He was in the main event managing King Kong Bundy and Andre the Giant. The Islanders, Blackjack Lanza, Blackjack Mulligan, Stan Hansen, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. I mean, this guy, he did it all. And he when you're the blueprint, you're the GOAT.
Time. Bobby, you good?
Watching and see. You guys okay? It'll be out there.
Yeah.
It'll be here in a second. You don't speak Spanish. Okay. Let me go ahead while I got a chance.
You got 2 more minutes. Go.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Go.
Ready.
Okay. So he just basically tried to jet all that out there because he knew what direction I was going from when I started. Because I was going to quote some of them. Actually, everything that he said about Bobby Heenan is old. It's old. It's old news. Because guess what happened? Once Paul Heyman started managing people like CM Punk, world champion. He started managing people like, what? Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, champions, tag team champions, everything all at once. He became a new blueprint because he was not a manager like Bobby Heenan was. He was an advocate. Then he became a wise man. And then also, guess what? Actually, with CM Punk, he changed it then because he was just a coach. If you remember that. He changed the mannerism and the ways of what a manager does. And what manager? Because Bobby Heenan had to bump all over the place. But think about this. All Paul Heyman has to do is just stand there. Look at what he does with Roman Reigns. He doesn't have to say a word. He doesn't have to take a bump to be effective. He doesn't have to do all that because him and his persona by itself says everything. And when you change the game like that, that's when you're the greatest. Jordan did it. And now we got Heyman. And I don't even need the rest of my time.
I love Bobby.
Right, cool.
Bobby's the best.
No, that was good.
No,
All right, so we got like 90 seconds for rebuttal.
okay, I'll go. Bobby
ahead,
just proved my point.
90 seconds.
We're talking about who's the greatest manager. Bobby just told us his guy ain't even the manager. He's an advocate. He's a wise man. And he's a coach. My guy's a manager. He manages wrestlers. Your guy don't even manage no more. He's a lawyer. That's what you basically described. He's a mediator. He's a guy standing there I've never seen anybody that could hold a belt better than Paul Heyman. That motherfucker can hold a belt and put it right there like he's the champ. The champs never hold the belt when they got Heyman. The Heyman holds the belt. If I'm the champ, the belt is around my waist, over my shoulder. Heyman holds the belt because he's not a manager. He don't manage shit. Bobby the Brain Heenan managed. Look, we always talk about guys, we're going to talk later, guys that should have been megastars. Heenan was their manager. Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude. These guys would have never gotten over without a manager like Bobby the Brain Heenan. Haku, Bobby the Brain Heenan. You know, King Haku. In anybody's world, how does Haku win King of the Ring? In anybody's world. With Bobby the Brain Heenan as manager. That's how you do it. So, yeah, you got the advocate. You got a coach. I don't know what the fuck Heyman does now. His friend, he's a friend. But I got a manager.
Time. Bobby, ready? You up? Move closer to your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. What happens when a person loses? They usually try to splice out one spot and try to make it differential. I'm sorry. LeBron is a player in the basketball and he ain't the GOAT because guess what? Michael Jordan changed the game and he can't keep up. Just like with Bobby Heenan. I'm sorry, but Heyman is a manager. But he changed the game. That's why he gets to name him different. Because he kept evolving and changed the game. So he is a manager, only on a higher level. He's a god. Greatness on a different level. So my thing is this. You still ain't rebutted on how Heenan could just stand there and make a difference in a presentation than Heyman. And when you can do that, you are the ultimate champion because you changed the game. You stood there and did nothing to be effective in the storyline. I'm sorry. You lost before you even started.
No. Everybody asks themselves, who's more entertaining, Heenan or Heyman?
Heyman.
Heenan. Heenan on primetime with Gorilla Monsoon, and then
I don't care.
He's managing the match that he's commenting on.
I don't care if he was cussing out Hulk Hogan. He was not better than Heyman. If you got a guy, he's got to get bumped around. He's got to get tossed around and do all this. Heyman just stands there. And he just stares at Roman Reigns. And he just stands there with looks at Roman Reigns.
Scary Sherry's a better manager than Heyman.
Oh, please. That's like saying Young Bucks is the greatest tag team.
Somebody said that on the thing today. Somebody said that.
But first of all, if I'm gonna pick a manager, I love Sherry, I damn should take a Paul Heyman over Sherry. But time is up. Time for us to vote. And anybody watching, throw your votes in on a live chat. And also, like, if you're not watching this live, you're watching this on replay, throw your votes in as well, though. But our votes right now, and the three people that are voting, is like myself, Rob, and Marcus. So this is going to determine the winner, but we can revisit it if the audience said we got it wrong. So get your votes in.
Just tell them what the truth is. I won. Anyway.
Tell Bobby he lost and get it over with.
Okay, I'm going to go first. The advocate, the wise man. It don't matter what you call him. He's in a managerial role. So that argument did not work for me. Do you know why? James J. Dillon was the executive director of the Horsemen. You can set it up however you want it. He's a manager.
Boy.
If we're talking about commentating, Bobby Heenan got him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But for the points you guys pointed out when it comes to managerial stuff, and I get what you're saying as far as like some of the Hall of Famers, all the wrestlers that Bobby Heenan has managed. But you yourself says that CM Punk is the greatest ever. He is the
No, Ric Flair is. Ric Flair's the GOAT. We all say Flair's the GOAT. All of us say that. My guy managed the GOAT, Flair.
But he also managed CM Punk, and you've been on his nuts a lot.
No, today, but he's not the GOAT. Ric Flair's the GOAT. My guy managed the GOAT.
When I'm doing my voting.
My guy managed to go. He mentioned 2 wrestlers. I named off Hall of Famers. Everybody on my list was a Hall of Famer.
I don't have
to. Hall of Famers too, though. Like you said,
one guy versus 20 guys. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
So you're saying now Tony's saying CM Punk is the GOAT over Ric Flair.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay, then my guy managed to go.
No, you act like he is.
No, I said he's the best wrestler today.
You say
Ric Flair's the GOAT. If you listen to my argument, I said he managed the GOAT, Ric Flair.
And me personally, Ric Flair was the GOAT before he got with Bobby Heenan.
It doesn't matter. That's who he managed, though. Flair let him manage him.
But he was a GOAT before he got there.
Flair, it doesn't matter. He managed a GOAT. It's the point.
Was a 13-time world champion when he got there, so I don't count for it.
I don't care, you guys, if you're a Heyman guy. Yeah. We're talking semantics. There's 3 guys on the list. I don't care if you're a Heyman guy, but my guy managed the GOAT. My guy managed Flair.
But your guy managed the GOAT after he was the GOAT.
No, he wasn't the GOAT in 92. He wasn't the GOAT. He wasn't the GOAT in 92.
Hey.
James J. Dillon managed the GOAT.
I know. How many? CM Punk's been managed by multiple guys, too.
Are we having 2 debates now?
And the greatest, they say the greatest superstar in WWE history, Andre the Giant. My guy managed him, too. I mean, it's not a coincidence. He manages the best in the business. Andre the Giant, Ric Flair.
But they were the best before they were.
Dangerously was in WCW when Flair was there. He didn't manage him.
Tony, you're voting for Bobby.
Marcus, I got Bobby on this. Marcus, who you got?
Bobby didn't even have any points.
My vote is for Chris. Bobby Heenan is the greatest manager of all time. And if I just go by the points that he made, I mean, it's for me, it's easy. It's Bobby Heenan. Chris gets my vote.
I kind of figured you would say that, so I ain't worried about that.
Marcus is smart.
Okay, Rob.
See,
so I got to break the tie.
Yes.
Terrific. Well, it looks like I'm probably going to end up owing more money on my hotel bill. I'm voting for Chris.
Okay.
Because Chris had a lot of research behind him, and the fact of the matter is that Paul Heyman, even though he fills a lot of roles and he has a tremendous charisma now, he didn't always have it during his whole career. Heenan did. Heenan was an unbelievable performer from day one until his retirement. Paulie started out as a second-tier guy managing people in Memphis and built his way up to what he is now. Whereas Heenan dominated it for a lot longer. So based on that, I got to go with Chris. And I'm going to probably owe $200 more.
Not to mention Paul Heyman was a slime ball. Nobody ever says anything bad about Heenan. No, nobody says anything bad about Heenan.
I don't care what, because I knew that the votes here would go for Bobby Heenan. And the reason why is I like Heenan. He's a sentimental favorite. But if you look at the execution, he's not, though. Not anymore.
I just proved it. I just won. He is the best. We just proved it.
You did not win yet. You did not win yet. Because we still got the
Well, the
audience, bro.
audience still has to weigh in.
See, we already got two of them that already said that my way is Heyman.
You had
My
no
thing is
points,
this.
man, and I love you,
I
Bobby. I'm being
didn't
honest
need.
with you.
I didn't need
I
any
wouldn't take
points.
Heyman over
That's the
Cornette.
point. That's what I'm proving. I don't need any points because his mannerisms, the way he does things, the
He's
way
not a
he
manager.
sits there, he is a manager.
No, he's
I don't
not.
need points. His
He doesn't
actions,
even call himself a manager.
His
He doesn't even
actions
call
prove
himself.
everything.
School is all
I'm an
about, so we
advocate.
can
I'm
be
just.
here for
He
days.
sounds like a lawyer. Heenan was
I
a
think-
manager. Like
His
and
actions
he'll
prove
fight for his
everything.
wrestlers.
That's why.
He'll
That's
stand
why.
in between them and take a ass whooping for him.
And see,
I was
And
almost.
he's the GOAT because he's the blueprint. I just told you what Jim Ross, Jim Cornette, what
In
they said.
2011.
These are the greatest people in wrestling
In
history.
2000. In
And they said
2011.
he's the GOAT.
In
Heenan said,
2011.
man, Heenan
In
passed away, bro.
2011. Before
Nah.
Heyman even got really
No,
started.
that was the PWI.
That was
the top
2011.
25 greatest.
Oh,
Jim Ross said this in
That's all I have about
2021
because like
when
Bobby
he was
said,
asked about it.
2011. You call 2011. But Paul
No,
Heyman did a lot of shit in
2011
2011.
is for the
So I get your
25
point on
greatest
that.
managers. Jim Ross said this in 2021. Heenan's the greatest talent in the history of the wrestling business.
When did
He
Heenan
said
die?
it on his show. He has
When
a
did Heenan die?
podcast.
well, guys, we're going to have to
This
let
is
the
the
audience
greatest
weigh
commentator of all
in
time, I'm telling you.
because we could do this
Right.
all night.
And I
I'd
got
love
feeling,
to, but
yeah, I got
we'll
feeling
move on.
Heyman
We
because
do have a
our
couple of
audience
votes
is
in
younger.
chat. We do have a couple of votes in chat.
Yeah.
And both of them are for Heyman. So I'm up 3-2. What are you talking about?
I'm not worried. The chat 3-2. I'm going by the show. I won 2.
Right.
We've always done the show.
The chat is
I
part.
won
The
2.
chat is part of
We ain't
the.
never done the chat.
I did
So
say
don't
the
try
chat
to
is
change
part
the
of the show.
rules because you lost this time again, Bobby. You keep losing when we have these battles. Don't try to change the
I
rules.
didn't
You lost to
lose. How did
Marcus.
I
You lost
lose?
to Tony. You lost to me twice. So just let it go. You got beat.
Before
I
the
won.
debate start, I said the three of us picking the winner.
Man, you
And
guys
we
are
get it
doing
wrong.
y'all.
And I did say
Y'all
we
cap,
got it
man.
wrong. And people
Yeah,
chime in
I
on
won,
chat.
man.
I did
It's
say
over.
that
I
we
ain't
were
worried
coming
about
to
it.
win.
Marcus, and it was
You
2-1.
didn't win.
I won.
You didn't win.
Do you
The
know
fans are part of
We
this
ain't
group.
never done this
Guys,
before.
Like,
Stop trying to.
do you
That's
not
cap,
recall
man.
I said, like,
You
people
got your
vote in the
friends
chat.
on the site
Do you
voting
not
for you.
recall when wait,
Come on,
Come on
man.
now,
do you not
come
recall when I said
on,
before the
come
debate
on.
Come
started?
on, man. I can't even believe y'all doing this. I ain't worried about it.
So,
I'll wake up tomorrow knowing I beat the shit out of you. I'll be
so you
fine,
don't
man.
know when
I'll
I
wake
said
up knowing I won again. I beat
shut the
Bobby
fuck up
again.
for a minute.
I'll wake up
Yeah, we
knowing I
know
beat
Do you not
Bobby again.
remember?
We know what happened. We know what
Do you
happened.
not
We do
remember
know
me
what
saying?
happened. Rob,
Do you not
your best friend, and
Do
Marcus,
you
your
not
other
remember?
best friend, told you lost. Your
Gentlemen,
roommate
we are
agreed
not
with you.
Republicans.
I really didn't think Tony was going to agree with you. I thought Tony had some sense. I was like, damn, Tony didn't even make sense when he said what he chose you. I don't even know why. I'm good.
And
I
Paul
won,
Heyman
man.
after that,
Yo,
no,
I won. I'm not even worried about it. Let's go to the next subject. I'm
No,
good with what just
you know
happened.
to the next subject.
I'm good with what just happened. I'm not going to let y'all bully me or team up against me because y'all don't like me. I beat you. I won. It's over.
What? So
What?
you do not
Gadget
remember
Man
me
for
saying
president.
The two guys. Then why did you give Marcus and Rob a vote if it doesn't count?
You know what?
Rob and Marcus said Chris won.
All right.
Tony said I lost 2-1. We've always done it that way. Don't change the rules because you lost.
All right.
No,
Take it easy, everybody.
Before this started, I said if people comment in chat and we get it wrong, we was going by that. I said that shit before we started.
Yeah,
Okay,
can we
let's
move on?
take it easy.
I'm done. I'm done. Fuck y'all. This
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, let's keep going here. Our next subject was stars.
Rob. We're not keeping going. We're gonna go ahead and end it right here. Next show will be on next week. It will be on the 24th. It'll be a taped show. We'll be back on the 31st for the best of.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone seeing our show today. This.
Oh, how you feel, brother? Feeling good. You feel good? Feeling good. It's groovy. There's so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I feel all right. I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. Look at him. Ha. We're gonna have a funky good time. 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 Let's take 'em up, Fred. We gotta take you high. Yeah. Ow. All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh? Yeah, let's do one more time. We gotta take you high. Yeah. Fred. Brother. Yeah. Now I want everybody. Let Fred blow about 2 choruses. And then I want to wave in. Let's go and do that with this now. All right. I'm gonna get that fella with the little horn over there. You know, change horn on me. Fred, can you take us higher? Yeah. Take us higher.